Welcome to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, home of Space Camp. It was here in Huntsville, Alabama, at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, where the development was led on the Saturn V rocket that first took humankind to the moon in July of 1969. For thousands of years, humans have looked at the moon in the sky and dreamt of going there. So why is it that sometimes we can't see the moon, or we can only see part of it? The answer is moon phases. At night, you may sometimes take a stroll in the moonlight, but in reality, the moon does not produce light. The only source of light in our solar system is our sun. Moonlight is actually just sunlight reflecting off the moon's surface. One side of the moon is always illuminated by the sun. As the moon orbits the Earth, we either see more or less of the moon, dependent upon its position in relation to the Earth and sun. For example, if the moon is between the Earth and the sun, we can't see the moon at all. This is why the amount of the moon we are seeing changes from night to night. The different amount of the moon we see each night is called a phase.
An easy and tasty way to learn about moon phases is using these cream-filled sandwich cookies.
There are 8 phases of the moon. The new moon is when the moon is located between the Earth and the sun, and we cannot see the moon at all. After this phase, the moon begins to wax or grow fuller in the night sky as the moon orbits around the Earth. Each night, more sunlight slowly starts to reflect off the moon's surface, and we see more of the moon. There is the waxing crescent, followed by the first quarter moon, and then a waxing gibbous moon. The moon then reaches its halfway point in orbit with a full moon. This is when the moon is completely illuminated and the Earth is between the moon and the sun. The moon then begins to wane, or appears to decrease in size, as it continues its orbit around the Earth. There is the waning gibbous moon, the third quarter moon, and then the waning crescent moon. Notice that the side of the moon that is illuminated when the moon is waning is the opposite from when the moon is waxing. While it takes a little over 27 days for the moon to orbit Earth, because of how sunlight hits the moon, it takes about 29.5 days to go from one new moon to the next.
As we continue to look up at the moon every night, we're reminded that humankind is going back with NASA's Artemis program. They will launch on top of the Space Launch System, which, just like the Apollo program's Saturn V rocket, was developed here in Huntsville at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. So perhaps when you look at the moon in a few years, humans will be up there walking across the surface once more.